Remember what I said at the end of last week's episode about... Starting off the news this week, ESA's Euclid Space Telescope has released its first test images after being launched at the beginning of last month. The telescope is designed specifically to take observations to help us gain further understanding on the largely mysterious nature of dark matter and dark energy, two aspects of the universe that we have yet to understand to any real degree. These two phenomena make up an enormous amount of our universe's matter and energy, and yet, because they are not directly detectable, we know so little about them. Euclid will try to use less direct methods to help us understand these aspects of the cosmos. The images were released this Monday by the European Space Agency and simply serve as a test to check the functionality of the telescope is working as intended. In other news, a study published in the journal Quaternary Science Reviews has described the findings of footprints believed to be left by the extinct human species Homo Heidelbergensis, a species that is believed to be an ancestor of Homo sapiens. These remarkable footprints, found with footprints of elephants and other herbivores, were taken from Schöningen, a region in northern Germany that has yielded some incredible finds for anthropology in the past, including the famous Schöninger spears, also usually attributed to Homo Heidelbergensis. The footprints analysed were taken from two different fossil localities, and the researchers determined that they were about 300,000 years old. It is of course difficult to pin down exactly what species it was, especially when such things are under so much debate anyway, but the researchers believe the footprints most likely came from a late form of Homo Heidelbergensis before they became the early Neanderthal, or Homo neanderthalensis. Another fantastic find that will add to the treasure trove of reminders we have about the complex history of our human ancestry. Up next in the paleontology news is the absolutely spectacular discovery of what might have been the heaviest animal ever to live, a new genus and species of colossal prehistoric whale. Named very appropriately as Paracetus Colossus, this incredible animal lived during the Eocene epoch around 38 to 39 million years ago and was discovered in a formation in Peru. The fossil material found of this new species includes 13 vertebrae as well as 4 ribs and some other elements, and they clearly indicate something very unusual about this whale. Perucetus is a member of the Basilosaurids, the grouping of prehistoric whales including the famous serpentine Basilosaurus, but Perucetus possesses incredibly dense bones. In fact, it's the highest degree of bone mass increase known in any animal to date, and the paleontologists show that this is due to the ecology of the animal. Perucetus would have not been able to return back to land as it would have been impossible to support its own mass, and so the incredibly dense bones were likely used as buoyancy control for a lifestyle in which it inhabited shallow waters and dove short distances down to forage near the sea floor, similar to what we see with the very dense boned shallow water inhabiting manatees and dugongs. The paleontologists suggest that it's unlikely Paracetus was feeding on just seagrasses or seaweed like modern sea cows though, as it would then be the only known herbivorous cetacean, which seems unlikely. Instead, it was probably eating bottom-dwelling animals such as crustaceans, mollusks and fish that swim close to the sea floor, and they even propose that perhaps it was a scavenger of carcasses that had fallen to the bottom, as this would be a very low-cost, high-energy food source for such a massive animal. The mass estimates for the skeleton of Paracetus put it at between 5.3 to 7.6 tons, which would make it 2 to 2.9 times the weight of the skeleton of a 25-metre-long blue whale, so that's a little insane. What an absolutely incredible discovery there then, showing how much we still have to learn about the evolution and diversification of prehistoric whales. That's it from us this week. I do hope you've enjoyed this episode of 7 Days of Science, and we'll see you next week for more.